YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back. It's NFL Week 1, and I got score predictions for every single NFL Week 1 game right here, right now. But every single Wednesday afternoon, I'm back with score predictions throughout the entire NFL season. So if you join us for that. Also taking a look at the spreads on games, compare to my scores, see if there's any games worth putting money on here. Make sure you follow our Twitter, Picks League, free to join on there. Only way to join it. Shout-outs and prizes involved, so check it out. Got to go to our Twitter. Updates during live games, thoughts on plays within live games, after games, everything is on that Twitter. Check it out, link down below. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Like I mentioned, a lot of you probably here to see the scores, the lines, see if there's any games worth putting money on. To know the best possible bets to make the most accurate bets, you definitely want to download that BetQL app. There's also a website. You see the links all over your screen, also in the description. All those links, all the info, more info in the description, so check it out below. But it's a great app, great website if you're looking to put money on games for sure. They got all the analytics. They have everything you can think of, against the spread picks, best bets according to them. They show you who the professionals are betting on. It's all in one place, makes it really easy. Customizable dashboard. You can keep track of your picks over time. It's real cool, real clean, real sharp. And they have again, anything you can think of, money line, over, under, best bets in every category, first half totals, second half totals, player prop bets, literally everything you can think of. Again, there's an app, Google Play, App Store. You can download it there. Again, don't forget to type in code GOAT for 25% off if you do end up checking it out there. But again, everything in the description if you want to. And here's our Twitter, Picks League. Keeps you guys involved with our weekly picks videos, which is every Tuesday night. Shout-outs, prizes along the way, and at the end. Only way to join is through our Twitter, so make sure you follow it. But a lot going on the Twitter as well, so it's definitely worth looking into. First game, Thursday night game, Cowboys at Buccaneers. I got the Bucs winning 34-27, so a little bit of a shootout here. It's tough predicting a shootout in Week 1. What do I always say? Week 1's random. Anything can happen. You can't really have too many big takeaways for the rest of the season based off Week 1 because it's just so random, But you rarely see that shootout, because not rarely, but it's not too common because offenses take a bit to get in their groove. But I don't know. I still think this will be a high-scoring game. The Buccaneers are favored by 8 points, and I have them winning by a touchdown here. I still think the Cowboys offense can do some damage. They'll probably get some pressure over Dak, but they'll probably have some big plays. Buccaneers, I think, will just keep rolling on offense. I do think the Cowboys defense will be better this year. I don't think this game will be an example of that. I think it could be one of those games, where the Buccaneers put up some points and everyone's like, oh, the Cowboys defense is still bad. That wouldn't be my takeaway. Can't base it off of one game. But I think the Buccaneers would be able to really get going in the passing game. I think they'll keep Tom Brady clean and be able to throw the ball downfield. I think the collection of weapons for the Buccaneers could be a problem for the young secondary of the Cowboys. That's kind of the main thing there. Curious to see a lot of these young players. Micah Parsons versus Joe Tryon, pretty interesting. But, I guess the question with the Cowboys, can they stay healthy? Will the offensive line be able to protect Dak? Because the Buccaneers do have a pretty nasty pass rush. But I think the Cowboys will find the way to get the ball out pretty quick. I think the Buccaneers will have control over this game for the most part here. But I got 34-27, so that is a touchdown victory for right around the spread. A lot of these ended up, I predict the scores, and I plug in the spread, the line, and it ends up being pretty close there. So, it's why Vegas comes up with those numbers, I suppose. Next game, I had a bit of an upset. If you didn't see it, we have a weekly picks video already up. It goes up every Tuesday night. More than just me make picks straight up on games. I was actually the only one to pick the Eagles. So you're probably thinking, wow, that's surprising. Yeah, it kind of is, because all the other guys, the fans voted as well. Everyone picked the Falcons. I'm kind of just going with my gut, kind of going with, and it is an upset. I don't really view it as that much of an upset, though. +3 for the Eagles. They're underdogs by 3 points. I got them winning by 1, so you can see I'm kind of on the fence. It's going to be a close game, I think. I think some field goals in this game, obviously you can tell. Just kind of feeling the Eagles. Both teams could be a little rusty because they sat a lot of their guys, mainly the key guys on offense, in preseason, so there could be a little rust, so maybe a little more defense than we're expecting. I think a lot of clock running, draining. The Eagles are going to run Hurts. They're going to run Miles Sanders, their collection of running backs. They're going to play small ball. You see some screen passes, some quick slants. I think we're going to see that from the Eagles. The Falcons heading in the right direction for defense, but they're probably planning for Hurts to run. Where is he going to run? Inside, read option. Is he going to get outside? And they're going to be able to spread it out so much because of that. Like I said, quick pass game, and they're going to be able to run up the middle with guys like Miles Sanders. So they're going to throw so much at you here that I'm kind of feeling the Eagles. Also on the other side, I do worry about the Falcons' offensive line. Eagles' offensive line I usually like early in years when they're healthy. They're pretty healthy right now for the most part. That's good. I don't think Hurts will be under too much pressure. If he is, I'd watch out for the blitzing game of the Falcons. That's something the Falcons could win off their defense. The blitz game could throw Hurts off. But I love the Eagles' pass rush, and they can stop the run. I do think Kyle Pitts will be a problem, mismatch problem, right off the bat, rookie year, first game. Who are they going to line up on Kyle Pitts? Because that could be a deciding factor there for sure for the Falcons. I'm curious to see because they bring in Arthur Smith. It's supposed to be a run-first team, but I still think, what's their identity going to be? Because they still need to be a pass-first team. How is it going to be? I'm curious to see that. Oh, yeah, again, for the reasons I explained, how they'll kind of distribute the ball, spread the ball out on offense, and their pass rush going against Falcons offensive line, that's a little iffy on it, For those reasons, I'm kind of pointing towards the Eagles. There could be some sloppy quarterback play more for the Eagles, though. You do trust Matt Ryan, but I think he'll be under more pressure there. But 24-23, I'm feeling the Eagles on that one. A little bold. Maybe a little bold on this one here. Not who I have winning. Most people have the Bills winning. I got them scoring 31 points. The Steelers scoring 23. It's probably more of a, compared to everyone else, maybe, I would assume, more of a high-scoring game, than most people have maybe. This isn't my prediction on how the Steelers will be long term. The Steelers defense, or either defense. Steelers defense is going to be great again. Week one won't really show that. I think the Bills will come out hot on offense. The Steelers win games defensively off their pass rush. Josh Allen, pretty damn good under pressure. Beats that, and maybe that'll be the deciding factor. Maybe the Steelers pass rush is so good in this game. That they just really throw off the Bills, and Josh Allen. It's very possible. But I think they stretch the ball downfield at what they do best, the Bills, that is. And I do think the Steelers get Najee Harris going. They get the small ball going with their receivers as well. So I think they'll be able to score more points. I think both teams probably scoring a little more than what you would think, but and we'll monitor their TJ Watt situation, looking for more money too. So the Bills are favored by just under a touchdown, and I got them winning by just over a touchdown. It's pretty close. A lot of these are tight this week. It's week one. Random things happen. So we will see. I got the Bills at home. Next game, Vikings-Bengals, 27-21 Vikings. I think this game's going to be weird, I think it's going to be, there's going to be moments where it's like, okay, the Vikings just scored rapidly, and the Bengals just had this big play downfield, and they scored rapidly. This is going to be a shootout. And then there's going to be a period where it's kind of bold prediction how I'm getting specific. I like to do this every year, though. Then there's going to be a stretch in the game where it's like there is no offense. Teams are going 3 and out, and it's going to go back and forth a little bit. So I think we're going to see a bit of that. I think the Vikings game plan's going to be to run the hell out of the clock. They're going to pound Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison like crazy, in my opinion. They'll probably take some shots down the sideline, too. The Bengals missing Trey Waynes, former Viking. That's tough for the Bengals. Gives Vikings a little more of the advantage. They're -3. I see a lot of people picking the Bengals in the upset. I definitely can see that because they're going to run a lot of spread offense there. They're going to spread the ball out to the receivers. The Vikings really aren't used to playing that. It never really goes well when they play that. But they got a whole new revamped defense. Looks pretty good on paper. Another thing, I do think this might be a battle for the worst pass protecting offensive lines. Maybe the worst offensive lines in general. The Vikings run blocking is pretty solid, but I think these quarterbacks are going to be under a lot of pressure. This probably would be a shootout if it wasn't that case. I think we can see Danielle Hunter have a multi-sack game right here in this one. But I think the Bengals pass rush, which is underrated, should be able to get after Kirk Cousins as well. I'd watch out for the blitz of the Bengals. I've been hyping that up. That I think they're going to blitz a ton and be pretty effective this season. And maybe it's not on the game plan. Maybe it's kind of unexpected. So the blitz of the Bengals could really throw off the Vikings. Why it's a little risky in this game, though, because if you pass blitz and they run it right up the gun to Dalvin Cook, and the guy's probably lose for a lot of yards. So it's a tough team to do that on. When they are passing, it's a great team to do it on. So, yeah, I'd watch out for the defensive line of the Vikings getting pressure on Burrow. We'll see where Burrow's head's at. We'll see where he's at after the injury. And I'd watch out for the blitz of the Bengals, like I mentioned. So it could be an interesting game for sure. 49ers and Lions, I got a pretty big victory for the 49ers here. They're -7.5. I got them covering that pretty easily. 31-13. I think we'll see, Garoppolo, obviously a good chunk of him. The Lions are a work in progress. The 49ers will probably run the ball a lot to start, and then they'll probably try to get Garoppolo going in the passing game to see where he's at. And it's a tough time to play the 49ers. And the Lions of all teams got the bad draw first, because it's a healthy team and it's a damn good defense if it's healthy. So that pass rush is going to get after Goff. What the Lions will do, they're going to play small ball. They're going to play some small ball here for sure. If the Lions end up scoring some points, win or lose, if they end up scoring a lot of points, my prediction would be, how'd that happen? I would predict right now that it would probably maybe DeAndre Swift, maybe got going actually as a pass catcher, and that could be the X factor in this game for the Lions. We'll see. Niners got some experience beating up Jared Goff, and the 49ers at full strength right now. So I just don't see. Week 1's pretty weird, pretty random. If the Lions won, that's what it would be. It wouldn't mean the Lions are better than the Niners. It wouldn't mean the Lions are great. It wouldn't mean the Niners suck. You give some hope, rightfully so, for the Lions. If the Lions won, I'd chalk it up to that. It was Week 1, and we'll talk about who was impressive for the Lions. I don't really see it. It's all the matchups point towards the 49ers, both sides of the ball. Another scenario I could see, maybe a little less scoring for the Niners. Maybe they just continue to run the ball. Let's run the clock, and it just keeps happening. So they're not able to score that many points because they ran the ball that much. So could see that as well. But I got them winning big. I think it's most people's lock of the week. Cardinals and Titans, I think somewhat of a shootout here. I think it could be more of a shootout, but I think we'll see a lot of running clock. So this is an ultimate shootout for a running clock type game. Titans are going to run the football with Derrick Henry. I think the Cardinals, they won't run the ball a lot, specifically design runs, but Kyler Murray will be able to run, get loose, get past the sticks, and it'll roll the clock. I do think they're going to dump the ball off to Chase Edmonds a lot in this game, just kind of a feeling. Unless he's getting out of bounds, I think the clock's going to be running on both sides quite a bit. But for 31-27 with the clock running that much, it's an absolute shootout. I just think it's tough to see the Cardinals match up with the Titans. One thing that's in my mind, the Titans' offense looked horrendous in Week 1 last year, and it just wasn't the same. It's just another example of Week 1 not meaning much. So will that show up again to start the year? Will they have to kind of knock the rust off, new offense coordinator? But the Cardinals, in terms of stopping the run, I see J.J. Watt. I don't see much. The inside linebackers are solid, heading in the right direction. I don't see much that is going to stop Derrick Henry at the line of scrimmage. I do not see a whole lot there. Zaven Collins, the first-round pick, could come in handy. The type of guy that can maybe bring down Derrick Henry. I think the shiftier guys are where Zaven Collins struggles a little bit. So, sure, that can come in clutch. I think Derrick Henry will be able to run well. And then with how thin the Cardinals are at corner, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Tannehill's been getting better somehow. I think they'll be able to do pretty much whatever they want. But the Cardinals, I think Kyler Murray could be a problem for them with his legs for sure. And they have a long list of receivers, and Titans have new corners in there. I do think the Titans' defense got better, but it might not show in this game, Week 1, because Kyler Murray could be a little bit of a problem. Something to look out for. The Cardinals' red zone defense is real good. So if the Titans do get those yards, which I'm really expecting, do the Cardinals stop them the field goals? And could that be the difference? That's something to look out for there. Maybe why the Cardinals can win the game. Next up, and that line is right around where I have my score. A lot of those ended up like this. Seahawks Colts. This is a tough one to predict the score. End up going 24-20. I mean, I can see this. Why I say it's tough, I can see this being like 17-13, because maybe Carson Wentz can't really get things going. The Seahawks got a unique defense, maybe some blitzes. Colts got a defense that can slow the Seahawks down. Maybe the Seahawks offense from the end of last year shows up. I can see it being, both teams scoring way more in this because Carson Wentz has a good offensive line now. He has some time. The Seahawks don't present much of a pass rush, so they can get going. But Seahawks got maybe a new look offense as well. They're supposed to pass the ball a little more. Typically, a Russell Wilson style, that great quarterback kind of beat up, if the Colts continue to run a heavy cover too, it's kind of the weakness, playing a guy like Russell Wilson. We'll see. They may throw something else at him. I went kind of split the difference there. I kind of went 24-20. I think it's another one of those games. I think I talked about with the Vikings-Bengals. I think, there's going to be moments where it's like Seahawks scored in a play, just bombed at the DK, Lockett, whatever, couple plays, and the Colts, able to roll Carson Wentz out and hit Michael Pittman for a touchdown on an explosive play. Man, this game is about to be a shootout. They just scored, within that amount of time, and then it kind of go back to a defensive game. I kind of can see that throughout the game, but the Seahawks are favored by 2.5. I got them winning by 4. we'll see, because some defenses gave some problems for the Seahawks last year. You look at the team like the Giants at the end of last year. So, yeah, which Seahawks offense going to show up? Which Carson Wentz going to show up? So, a lot of questions to be answered in a game like this, but it is week one. Random things going to happen. Chargers and Washington football team. This is probably my favorite game of the week. It's just offense versus defense, but I like it even more because Chargers got some defense too, and Washington's got some offense too. So, that's great. Chargers. This one's been bouncing around a bit. I saw Washington favored by 1. I saw even for a bit. Chargers are currently favored by 1 point here. I like the Chargers in Washington football team's house there, and I love their defense. Love the defense here. I think a low-scoring game week 1, little sloppy play here and there, and the Chargers kind of make that extra explosive play on offense to win it. They probably can create that extra turnover as well. It's a play. The Washington football team's got a shutdown defense. The Chargers got a playmaking defense. I love the combination of the offense and defense for the Chargers there. So, and Justin Herbert was damn good against pressure last year. So, usually those quarterbacks make the dominant pass rush teams have their big factor, which is pass rush, almost non-existent. So will that be the case? How will Herbert be with a new system? Will there be some kind of sophomore slump? I don't think so. I'm feeling the Chargers for those reasons. Maybe just a little more juice on offense and maybe get their hands on the ball that one extra time on defense. 23-20. It's all I keep talking about all offseason too. The Chargers are going to stretch the field an insane amount. Justin Herbert's cannon of an arm and those deep ball receivers kind of get that in your head. We got a game plan for this. And then you got Austin Eckler running underneath. Keenan Allen could run underneath, catch the ball. They spread that out so much, and it's just you got to worry about so many things on that field. So it could be one of the tougher tasks for one of the better defenses in football, week 1, but we'll see what happens. I'm pumped for that game. I'm pumped for every game, but Jets and Panthers, the good old Sam Darnold Bowl. Really thought about this one because I think Zach Wilson's a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. Could the Jets beat Sam Darnold? That'd be interesting to see. It's possible. Everything just points towards the Panthers. I actually might have went a little bold in this one in terms of the high scoring. I went high scoring, and I could see a scenario. It's one of those games. I could see a scenario where it's 17-14. So it's a tough one, but I think the Panthers are going to play quick game, quick small ball in the passing game. The collection of receivers, DJ Moore, who they can give screen passes to, end arounds to, quick slants. Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall can do some similar things all over the field. Christian McCaffrey. They're going to get the ball out quick. They're going to march down the field. I do think the Jets defense can kind of clutch up in the red zone. So I'm thinking a lot of yards for the Panthers, but probably quite a bit of field goals. Just kind of a gut feeling there just based on the matchup. So that could be a difference maker there. I just think the lack of pass rush and cornerback play for the Jets could be a problem in this game with the collection of weapons the Panthers have. Quentin Williams will be able to get some good pressure in the interior, so I'd watch out for that. I do worry about the Panthers' offensive line, but I don't know if it's going to show that much in this game because I really think they're getting the ball out quick. I think it's going to be a quick small ball game. That's very hard to stop early in seasons. Once you start game planning for it correctly, you have that film, you start being able to game plan for it correctly. But yeah, I think the Jets will have some success as well. I think we'll see them spread it out too with the collection of receivers. And do they have enough coverage guys, the Panthers in the secondary, to lock all those guys down? So I do think the Jets will be able to score a bit as well. They do kind of feel a little one-dimensional. We'll see if somebody can step up in a run game for them. So this should be a pretty good game. We're right around the spread as well. I think more scoring than what maybe the over-under says. What other people are saying perhaps. Next game, Jags and Texans. The tight one, squeaker right here, 28-27. I got the Jags. I think the difference maker is Trevor Lawrence on the ground. I think they'll, run him. At least I hope for their sake they do. And they run him a bit more, a lot more read options, kind of throw the Texans off, be hard to stop. Kind of the worry for the Jags is offensive line looked a little shaky at times preseason. Will Trevor Lawrence be under pressure? And that could be a problem, but the Texans don't present the best pass rush, so I don't think it's going to be a constant problem in this game. Texans struggled to stop the run last year, so James Robinson could get going. And really, another team that kind of stretches the field because you got to worry about the deep ball from Lawrence, the collection of receivers. But, you got to key on stopping the run first, so they could run that ball, and then they can open up the pass downfield as well. then you got to worry about Trevor Lawrence running as well. So, I'm kind of leaning towards the Jags. I do worry about the Jags defense a little bit, especially when you don't really know what to expect from the Texans week one. Don't really have film on them. It's a whole new look. So, kind of could be a back and forth game. I just more reasons to pick the Jaguars there. So, I'm gonna go that route. But a game that definitely can go either way. Browns and Chiefs, maybe a little more low scoring. You kind of think somebody gets in the 30s, maybe both teams gets in the 30s. I think, we know the Browns want to run the ball, run the clock, not give the offense of the opposing team that many opportunities. We know that already. I think the Chiefs are going to actually try to run the ball a little more. They built their offensive line that way. A year ago, they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first. They want to get him going more, and they very well can. They actually ran the ball a ton early last year and got him going. We could see that again. But you look at the Browns, they built this team this offseason to beat the Chiefs, to cover the Chiefs. They built up a pretty good secondary. I think down the middle of the field, I still think you can beat them kind of on the ground. So the Chiefs might counter. They might go, you built this to... And they'll pass on them too. They'll probably the first drive the Chiefs get the ball, they'll probably come out on the ball, throwing the ball. And the Chiefs might throw it. All right, we'll just run the ball on you then. That's what we're working on here. So I think we could see. My point is, I think we could see a lot more running than maybe you would expect. So I think a lot of running clock here. So 27-23 is what I got right around the spread for that one, kind of as well, a little closer than the spread. But I do have the Chiefs at home. But if the Browns start with the ball and get their game plan works, they run an insane amount of clock and end with the touchdown, run the ball. I can kind of get the Chiefs cold and, limits their opportunities, and that could be a reason the Browns win. If the Chiefs go down there and score right when the game starts, then the Browns got to play from behind while their game plan is run the ball, run the clock. So really who starts with the ball and scores first is kind of big in a game like this. So we'll see. Dolphins, Patriots. Tight game. Alabama quarterback bowl here. We got Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa. I got the Patriots winning by exactly how much they're favored by 3. The Patriots are going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball a lot. Dolphins struggled to stop the run last year, so a lot of clock's going to come off again. I think Mac Jones will make plays, but the Dolphins got a play-making defense. They get their hands in the ball, so you're going to be cautious with Mac Jones here. The Dolphins' problem is they're a little one-dimensional. I think Tua will be good passing the ball, but how effective will they be running the ball? So it's not the most difficult game plan for the Patriots defense, so we'll see. Maybe they throw something weird at them. Easier said than done to kind of cover all of those receivers, the talent that they have out there. But I do think the Patriots get some pressure. That's kind of the difference in this one. Both teams can get pressure on the quarterback, but you look at the difference in the offensive lines, pretty significant difference, and you look at the difference of the running games of the offenses, against two defenses that led up quite a few yards, quite a bit of yards on the ground. So both those kind of side towards the Patriots at home here. So I'm gonna go that route, but it should be a pretty close game. Next, Packers Saints. I got a shootout in this one. I got the Packers putting up a big 34 points. This won't show where the Saints defense will be the rest of the year. There'll be people, the Saints go up 34, the defense stinks. It's not how it is. They'll figure it out as the year goes on. It's just tough to play the Packers week one. The Saints don't even get a home game, even though they were supposed to. This game's actually played in Jacksonville. I'm surprised the line's only down at 4, so the Saints are sneaky. I do like the idea of a Jameis Winston Saints team. Maybe they don't know what to expect, the Packers that is, and maybe the Saints pull it off, but I think the Packers will be able to run the ball on them. I think they'll be able to throw the ball on them. The Saints actually just traded for Bradley Roby. We talked about that a lot on Twitter. That'll help them, but he's not in this game. He's suspended, but he probably wouldn't be playing anyways because they just traded for him. So I think the Packers and Rodgers, I think they'll be able to have a pretty good day throwing the ball as well. But I think they can run the ball and have some and be pretty effective. No Bakhtiari for the Packers. That's pretty tough. I think a guy like Marcus Davenport's really going to step up, break out this year. So could him or Cameron Jordan or both of them kind of have a day, because since they're missing their big piece of their tackle. And we see the Packers don't look like anywhere near the same team when there's pressure on Rodgers. So heavy pressure, which is rare. So could that be a factor? I just trust the Packers on every phase in this game. Especially offense. Again, I think they could be effective running and throwing the ball. So I'm gonna go with them. I got them winning by 10. In that game again is in Jacksonville. Saints don't get to play at home. That's pretty tough. Broncos, Giants, very low scoring, 17-16. And it's actually not all because it's, people view this as low scoring because, all right, they both got really good defenses and they both, I'm not so sure about their offense. That's a part of it, but I think both teams want to run the ball a lot, and that's going to run the clock. So Broncos, two-headed monster, Melvin Gordon, and Javonte Williams, big Javonte Williams fan. They're going to run the ball a ton. They'll spread it out in the passing game as well, but the clock's going to be rolling. The Giants get Saquon Barkley back. I guess the question is, do they want to feed Saquon Barkley that much of a load? This is probably the best secondary in football, though. Where would Daniel Jones be, with that pressure coming after him against that secondary? He does have the talent now. All signs point towards just be somewhat low scoring here. Pretty low scoring. And I think they're so similar in teams, same scheme on defense. They're both, the strength is running the ball. They both, overall in general, their strength is defense. They got really good defensive minds on their staff. It feels like the same team. The difference to me here is the offensive lines. They're both pass rushers can get after it. Which one has the easier task? Broncos offensive line I view is solid. Giants offensive line I view is bad. So that's the difference. I also think the Broncos have a better running game. I know that a great player in Saquon Barkley's on the other side. Again, how limited will he be? Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, I think they're not going to run all over the Giants' great run defense, or maybe I shouldn't say great, but they'll do enough, in my opinion. So, going to go Broncos, tight one. I think the Broncos could have control of that game for most, even though it's going to stay tight. We'll see, though. Sunday night, I got the Rams winning 30-17. They're favored by 7.5, so I actually have them covering that. The reason I think maybe when they wouldn't cover, it'd be closer. The Bears get the ball first, and they just pound the football. We saw the Packers kind of take control up down the middle of the field, running the ball against the Rams. So maybe the Bears take a page out of their book, and they try to expose, everything but Aaron Donald on the inside. They're the linebacker unit on the inside could use some work. So maybe the Bears do that. They run a ton of clock, and they kind of throw Stafford and company off. They have limited chances. It's a possibility. You have to have a really good game plan, and things have to work out at the right time. You have to have the correct calls and short yardage. So I don't really trust Matt Nagy at the moment in those situations. So it could look like it's working at times. So I'm going to go with the Rams. The Bears defense probably takes a step down. Still going to be a very solid defense. Don't get me wrong. But Matthew Stafford has experience playing well against the Bears. Now he's with a better scheme, system, play calling, everything. It's the Rams, everything. All those weapons. How they're going to account for all those weapons that the Rams have. So I think that Matthew Stafford will be able to push the ball. They'll be able to score. And defensively, against, Andy Dalton offense, it's, there's nothing really, the reason the Bears can get going again is probably the running game. But there's nothing really that's going to be present that causes the Rams defense problems here. So everything's kind of just siding towards the Rams here in this matchup. I'm going to go 30-17. And then Monday night, another one where everything about the matchup kind of just sides one side, in my opinion. The Raiders are home. It's Monday night. It's week one. All those things could definitely side with them. But it's a little bit of a new look Raiders offensive line. Again, I keep saying this. I don't think, a lot of people are overreacting. I think everyone's like, wow, they're going to go from a good offense line to a bad offense line. It looks a lot different, especially with a rookie starting at right tackle, questionable pick there. I don't think that's the case. They're very good at coaching the offensive line, getting them ready. I still think it'll be a good offensive line, but I do think there could be a little bit of growing pains, and I do think it won't be as good as it was last year. And then going against a Ravens blitz defense, the best blitzing defense in football, I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to bring the house a ton. That's kind of going to throw off the Raiders offense. Could the Raiders read blitz, run the ball away from the blitz? It's a possibility that could throw them off. And the Raiders, that is, but then the Ravens are a little beat up. So could that be a factor? It's tough to see the Raiders completely stopping Lamar Jackson, and what he does in week one. But maybe, they had a long time to game plan for it. A long time, all that offseason to kind of just game plan for week one. Lamar Jackson, so maybe that could be another reason. But I think the blitz on the Ravens defense is going to be a huge factor. And again, Lamar is going to be hard to stop either way. So I got the Ravens winning by just over a touchdown. They are favored by 4.5 points. But it does look a little tricky because, in Las Vegas, Monday night to open up the season, pretty wild there. So we will see. It's a new look defense for the Raiders. I think, the Raiders defense will be better this year. That's for sure. Maybe it won't show in week one, but it'll be better. But that's my score predictions. Again, if you like putting money on these games, you want to make the best bets, you want to get more opinions, go to BetQL app and website. I have links all over the description. Use code GOAT if you sign up. There's also a special offer down there for BetMGM. You get a free year of BetQL. So a lot to check out there. They give you the best bets. They give you what all the professionals are betting on, what the public's betting on, any info you need, any type of bets you're looking for. They got it. So check it out. Use code GOAT if you sign up. Again, all those links down below. Make sure you follow our Twitter too. Link down below for that. Join our Picks League, talking live during games. You guys will see if you follow us there. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on our channel so you don't miss a thing, because we got a load of content for the NFL season. So join us. Be much appreciated. But thanks for watching this video. It's going to do it. Goodbye.